guys, it is Tristan with Nerdut's Newsstand, and me and Bianca are back for another Bad Ideas. We are doing a bad movie review. And, oh goodness. Okay, we watched Green Lantern, the Ryan Reynolds movie from 2011. And I don't know, I've seen the movie previously. I don't remember it being this bad. But if you're unfamiliar with the movie, basically it is Hal Jordan is played by Ryan Reynolds, who actually just plays Ryan Reynolds throughout the entire movie. Did you notice that?
As a kid who hasn't, when I haven't seen that much Ryan Reynolds movies, but when I'm older, I have seen tons of Ryan Reynolds movies, and I said this is just Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds.
Like, he plays the same character in almost every movie he plays. Like, he's a great actor, don't get me wrong.
Same.
And he's like, maybe for Deadpool, he maybe turns it up to 10 or something. But like, I like Ryan Reynolds. I like him a lot. Yeah. I think he's funny. I think he does a good job. But this is
I think he was normal in that one romance movie.
With Sandra Bullock, that one?
Yeah.
That was cute, right? That was a cute movie. But like, this one, I was shocked at, maybe I was just like desperate for DC content back then. But looking back, I'm going to put a hot take out there because we reviewed Catwoman. This was way worse.
I actually found it a little bit better than Catwoman.
Did you really? Even that CG?
That CG was so bad. But yes, I will. At least the fights were interesting to me.
That's true. And Oa at moments, when they didn't look like they were popping out of the screen because it was a green screen, was pretty. Like, the world building of the Guardians, that was pretty. What's his name? Sinestro. I can't think of the actor's name because now he plays Dr. Sivana in Shazam. But he was the redeeming quality for me in this movie.
Oh, yes, definitely. He even looked normal in the suit.
Like, and I'm not kidding, like, we'll go through the movie, but talking about that, like, post-credit scene, did you watch that?
Yeah, I was like, is there a post-credit scene? I know it's not Marvel. I'm like, yeah, there it is.
That was the best part of the movie.
That was the best part of the movie.
It was so good. I really want to see him as Sinestro. He looks so good as Sinestro. I love that. That was so nice to see, but like, let's talk about the characters individually. So what did you think of, I know we started and sort of dipped on Ryan Reynolds as Hal Jordan, but I'm not a big Green Lantern person anyway. So look, going into this, I don't have to be overly impressed like a massive Green Lantern fan would be, right?
Yeah.
You have to just do the bare minimum for me.
Now right? This is a screenplay by Greg Bertinelli.
I know!
And produced by Greg Bertinelli. And
he does all the CW stuff now. Imagine that.
Oh my gosh. And I went, no wonder this is so bad.
I know!
He did the script, the screenplay, and he was the producer. And I'm like, why are you so involved?
I wonder if he got demoted to CW after this. Because, like, I don't know. This was pretty bad. Like, looking at Hal Jordan as a character, he's reckless. He's irresponsible. Like, the Hal Jordan we were introduced to in this would have never been granted a Green Lantern ring.
I found it so confusing because I'm not a Green Lantern person either. Oh, the only Green Lantern I know fully is Jon Stewart from the cartoon. But in the DCAU movies, there's Hal Jordan. And, you know, he can be kind of like a snarky, try to be comedic and all that stuff. But I'm like, he doesn't seem dickish to me like he was in this movie.
Right. And I get like showing the growth. And that's, I'm sure that's what they were going for. They were trying to show the growth, you know. But the growth from a person that literally left like a woman in his bed at his house, like, and then goes and goes to his nephew's house. So that was one thing I noticed when he goes to his nephew, who his whole family is just a talking point for like 2 seconds. These side characters, his nephew, we never see again. His family, we never see again. He was literally like the worst dialogue. Have you ever seen those like posts of people like, my 4-year-old said Ruth Gator Rayad, I can't think of it. RGB. What his death was the saddest thing in the world, and she's gonna stand up for 4-year-old rights, and everybody's like, your 4-year-old didn't say that. That's how I felt the entire dialogue was with that little boy. It was so bad. It was so bad.
it was so not good.
And then when it comes to like his growth and development, a lot of it to me didn't feel earned. So, you know that scene after him and Carol go to the bar and those people beat him up for losing his job, for losing their jobs?
Yeah.
Like, you can kind of, okay, I'm not condoning violence, but the dude lost them their jobs. You can understand why they'd be pissed. But then to turn around and to use the Green Lantern ring to literally punch them? Like,
so here's what's the funny thing that I noticed about that scene. He went hey while they were walking away, so they all look back at him, and he grabs something from a container, which I don't know, sounds like it has bolts and nuts or whatever, and so it looks like he was going to throw it at them, but he never opened his hand, and that's what made a fist for the Green Lantern. And I'm like, you never opened your hand, you never threw the stuff, that means you still have the stuff in your hand.
That actually makes a lot more sense. I did not realize that's what happened. So yeah, that makes a little bit more sense, but like, oh my goodness. So Carol, that's actually his wife in real life, which is crazy to me. I wonder if that's how they met.
I wonder too. I didn't know it was his wife until I'm watching it on the TV, and then my brother's girlfriend was like, "Oh, hey, that's his wife." I'm like, "That is his wife?" And she's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know." The dialogue's so freaking bad.
Well,
Codename
it's weird
Sapphire.
because like she's a I don't know her from anything else. Her name's Blake Lively, but like she is a terrible actress. Like, she's beautiful, but
oh my
she
gosh.
cannot act.
I just realized why her dialogue is so bad. Dang it, Greg. Because
Yeah.
when you first see her, and Ryan Reynolds is Hal Jordan comes in and he's late, and he's like changing, and she's like, "You're late," and he's like trying to make an excuse or whatever, and then she said something like, I was out there, he spoke me multiple times, blah blah blah. This is disappointing for females, and I'm like, what do you mean this is disappointing for females? What does you being female have to do it with any of this, especially since you're going to be having a guy going into the field with you?
Right.
I'm like, I get that she's now going to be owning the company, but again, how is this disappointing for females? You're the one who got smoked.
Like,
it's disappointing for you.
Yes, exactly. But again, we're talking about Greg Bertinelli. Like, I don't know, like, the only line I would say that I liked from her in as far as her delivery is when after he saves her and he, comes to say, "Goodbye, miss, I'm going, blah, blah, blah," and he tries to use, like, his Batman voice. He doesn't, she sees through the, like, Clark Kenting of it, right? She's like, "Oh my God, I grew up with you. Of course I knew who you are." Like,
I've seen
I
you
like
naked.
that.
Of course I've known.
I actually like that because sometimes the idea of every superhero being able to hide who they are gets tedious, right? Like,
Yeah.
Clark Kent, Batman, we get it, but like Green Lantern, if that's gonna be your eventually wife, well, come on, like, quit playing. But I thought that was really good. The rest of what she was there for, like, even going to that, when we'll talk about Hector Hammond here in a minute, but like using her as like I don't know, it was bad. It was really bad. But we got to talk about the giant head in the room. Oh my God, Hector Hammond. Oh my God. Did you know that? So remember in the Batman, the guy, the DA, who eventually is in the car that goes through the funeral scene?
In the movie The Batman, the recent one?
Yeah.
There was a DA that went through the... Oh, yeah.
That's who plays Hector Hammond.
What?
Yes. It looks
So
like
the
a
head is
completely different
fake.
person.
Oh my God. So they did make him look super ugly on purpose.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I felt so bad about that. I'm like, dude, just shave the hairs, and you look a ton better, And then
Well, I think
everything
they moved
happening to him with his head growing, and I'm like, you're just making him look as ugly as possible,
Yes.
and it kind of makes me feel sad about that.
I think they moved his hairline back and everything so they could extend his head. Like, I felt bad initially for the character. Like, clearly they're trying to set up that, like, overbearing father, or disappointed father, rather. They're trying to set up, like, how can you look at, okay, this man is super fucking smart. Like, clearly we know he's super smart. Yet his dad still sees him as an embarrassment. It didn't quite make sense to me, right? Like, I
I
don't
guess
know.
he's because he like that opportunity he had with the alien, he couldn't have done it by himself without help. And I'm like, listen, I mean, teachers are underappreciated, but he's teaching kids some science. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, just because he's not operating on an alien.
Right. And any parent that thinks that their kid that is a teacher and extremely intelligent and teaching the next generation is a embarrassment, like, I think you're the embarrassment as a parent, right? Like, I don't think they sold that very well, in my
No,
opinion.
and plus, even I did like how he was very sympathetic. That he was like, "Oh my gosh, there was other scientists who were more qualified
I
than I
thought
am
that
that
was
could have done
awesome.
it."
Yeah.
And I'm like, if he wasn't there, somebody else would have gotten infected.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually thought that was really cool because he was like, "But I only got this because of you." Like, he was just like not into it after that. But the so Hector Hammond in the comics, I don't remember him ever getting this. Like, he's evil. There's no doubt about it. He's evil. But from what I remember, I don't remember any of this. Same with Parallax, and we'll get there. But like, oh, this character, they did him so dirty. The head. Like, his storyline progresses also too fast for me. I feel like the pacing was off because he literally goes from like having operating to like having a headache or whatever, then to being able to read people's mind. Then in the next scene, he's got like a bullless head. Like,
Oh,
it's
seeing
almost
that scene was
literally
so
within minutes.
gross.
I know, it looks terrible. It looks terrible.
And then he started becoming more of a creeper.
Super fucking creeper.
I was at first like he would like I guess he would keep it all in his head, but then after he got infected, he just starts to say all of that stuff, and I'm like, no, maybe keep that to yourself. You're gonna be seen as creepy. You're lucky she's your friend, and
Well,
she's
it's
not
weird to me.
calling you out on that.
Yes, and it's weird to me because they're trying to sell us this, like, tragedy his dad hates him, all while calling him a creeper at the same time. Like, I
And
don't think
also
they knew
him
what.
being less than Hal Jordan. He's like, look at you, look how handsome you are. And I'm like, again, just shave your head. Nobody needs those extra hairs popping out. It doesn't look good. You don't have to save your mustache. Your mustache is fine. Maybe get a
Your
toupee.
mustache. It
Mustache.
Did you notice how they went when it came to, like, Hal and that? They kind of went, since it was 2011 and they didn't really use that word, they went with, like, the privilege stuff a lot. Like, he was privileged because of who he was. He was, had pretty privilege, so to speak. He
Yeah.
had all these things. They went for that storyline before the idea of white privilege even existed. Like, they knew what they were doing, kind of. They just didn't know what to name it.
Not only that, but they did something in the dialogue when it was Hector versus Hal, and when Hector was like, "I'm going to inject her, and she's going to look like me. Are you still going to like her if she looks like me?"
I
And he just
know.
stays silent, and I'm like,
He's just like,
"Bro!" He's like,
I
"Take
noticed
the
that too.
ring,"
I
and
was
I'm
like,
like,
that's such a
"Bro!"
dick move.
And I'm like, why have this dialogue? This dialogue didn't need to be there. That just made him look a lot worse. It's like saying you're not interested in her personality. And I'm like, listen, no matter how she looks, I would still love her because she encouraged me and blah blah blah. And I'm
He's
like,
just like,
bro.
let me think about it.
He's like,
Let
here,
me
a
think about
ring.
it. I don't know. I know, like, you just made Hal Jordan in that scene look worse than the hideous Hector Hammond. How did you manage to do that?
Oh my gosh, I was so angry. I'm like, okay, can we just fight each other now? Like, this is bad.
It's so bad. And another thing, so, oh God. Oa was pretty. I want to make sure I say that. But the way that they rendered Kilowog, oh my God.
So I wanted to ask about that because again, I don't read any Green Lantern comics, but I've seen him in like some cartoons, but like for like a few seconds, and then I would change the channel. But like he seemed like in this movie, he seems rough around the edges and pretty mean, and I'm like, is he like that? I thought he was like a cute pink friend.
Again, I'm not a huge Green Lantern person, but I've never seen that version of Kilowog. And I've read enough
He has
Green
a
Lantern.
beard and everything in this one.
Like in the shape, oh man. Even like down okay, so the voice actor was good. Like I'm not saying anything against the voice actor, but they were clearly going for that like cruelty in the voice.
Yeah,
And I don't understand like cuz Kilowog to me, yeah, I guess he is rough around the edges. I guess that is a way to put it. But like he's the rough around the edges with a heart of gold. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That Kilowog to me not only looked terrible, like I don't know what they did with his face, like his teeth, the way that they had like little hairs coming out randomly, his nose,
Like he
like
has a 5 o'clock shadow, and I'm like, wait, do you shave?
yeah, that's what I kind of wondered too. Like, how do you shave? Do you have a special razors from your land? Like, I
Green
don't get
Lantern
it.
stuff.
But it was
But not
so
only that, but he tried to take the credit in the ending. He's like, "Can I train him or can I train him?" I'm like, "You trained him one time and you
once.
never showed up again. What the heck are you talking about?"
I know it was so, and then honestly, like Sinestro, I think taught him more
Oh
than
yeah.
Kilowog did.
But that fight was so stupid.
Which the Sinestro and Hal?
Yeah, he was like, "Yeah, we're going to fight." And so Hal for some reason picks swords and I'm like, "Why would you pick a sword? Have you fought with the sword before?"
Apparently, he just knows how now.
He just swings it very terribly, and I'm like, "You don't even know how to use a sword." And then Sinestro, I'm like, "Oh, Sinestro's actually pretty good," but he says, "Swords, how human?" And I'm like, "How is it human? People don't use swords anymore, unless you're like fencing or whatever." Also, I wanted to know, even though this is DC, I feel like they referenced the Captain America shield.
Oh, they most definitely did.
Yes, I got it right. The
Well,
machine gun was great.
the funny thing about those scenes is I never noticed it before. And you know I know you haven't played them much, but the Injustice games.
Hmm.
In looking back now at Injustice once, the where he used like the brick wall and then like the Tommy gun, those
Hmm.
are all moves from Injustice. And I was like, oh, now I know where those came from. This terrible movie. Yeah, no. No, take them away. Now I
Did it
hate
really?
it.
Did this really come out before the movie?
I don't know.
Somebody copied somebody.
Yeah, somebody copied somebody, but and that's okay. That works sometimes, but like, no, not this movie. No,
I mean,
no.
better than the DCAU movie, Justice League War, where he just uses a vacuum to fight the parademons or something like that. He just sucks them up in a big gigantic vacuum with a straight look on his face, and I'm like, that's hilarious.
No, I just looked it up. They did steal it from the movie. The movie came out first. Why did you take that? Why? Why? Oh god. I wonder if they still thought maybe at that time it was going to be a thing. Like because they clearly had plans for sequel if I bet oh god, no. So bad. Um but when that whole fight happened, I honestly like cuz I seen the movie before. I didn't remember it beat by beat or anything, but
Me neither.
I thought that he was gonna win, right? I thought he was gonna go in there and win, and I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna have a Mary Sue, da da da. He goes in there and loses, and like Sinestro fucking hates him, and I
Yeah.
kind of get it. Like you got this arrogant dude, but like what I don't get is Sinestro has like a hate boner for Hal, right? But nobody else has to earn their stride. Like maybe they already have, but he seems pretty accepting of like the thousands of other Green Lanterns. Like he had to
Maybe because
defeat
he's a Green
Parallax.
Lantern. I don't know. Mob mentality.
Maybe, but like he had to defeat Parallax in order to earn your respect. But everybody else is just like, cool, put our little green light in the sky, woohoo! Like, come on
Woo! And they
now.
did it more than once. And I'm like,
And it looks
okay.
pretty. It looks pretty, but come on, guys, it's weird. It's starting to look like I don't know. It's odd. So what did you think of Parallax?
Ugly.
Oh
But I
my
wasn't
god,
sure if
it's so bad.
parallax was an actual thing. Uh, and it's like a big gigantic cloud octopus. The way he kills people's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I guess he
I
didn't like Hector so much. And I'm like, was Hector supposed to do something? Because to Parallax, he was also a disappointment. And I'm like, well, what was he supposed to do? Kill massive amount of people or something? Like, we didn't. I did not understand the assignment he was given. What was he given?
like wasn't he supposed to feed off their fear so he could go take over Oa? But like,
I thought the Parallax was supposed to do that.
yeah, that's oh yeah. So Hector was supposed to eliminate Hal. That was all his assignment was.
That's it? I don't
Yeah.
even remember. I guess maybe I looked at my phone and used it as background noise that time, and I'm like, okay, let me see about this turning red review. And I'm like, oh wait, I should probably pay attention. I've did that a couple times throughout the movie, so if I forget something, forgive me.
No, I did too because like Hal was talking to Carol and he was like, I quit the Corps. And I'm like, when did that happen? I don't remember that happening. Like, I
I think
missed
it was
something.
after he lost to Sinestro. I'm pretty sure. But I'm like, you have the ring. You can't just quit like that.
Yeah, it
Also, did
doesn't
you
work that way,
notice that
buddy.
during that time where he was showing his friend, is his friend played by what Taki
Yeah.
Watiki? Yeah, I'm like,
Taikiki Wakiki.
I didn't even notice because his hair was black, and I'm so used to his hair being gray now. So that scene where he's about to show his friend the green suit, and he does the whole pose like, ugh, and then nothing happens. I was like, wow, your arms are pretty big. And so he's like, oh, gotta charge it, and he takes forever putting the lantern on the freaking table. Takes a few seconds to charge, and then he does the move again, but then it's the green suit, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they shrunk your arms. It looks so
Mm,
weird now.
I did not notice that.
They shrunk his huge muscles. And I'm like, why would you do that? Put it on the muscles, make it look nice. But now that you kind of like cut off the muscle, and now it like I couldn't stop looking at it because I can clearly tell that it's been cut off, and now he looks ridiculously weirdly scrawny. And I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I can't look at you. You look so weird.
It's that bad suit. Like I wish they would have went with an actual suit instead of an
Yes, why didn't
animated
they
one.
freaking do that? Did they just apply it with Photoshop?
Yes.
Why did
The
it look good
whole
on
thing.
everybody else? Is it because they were also CGI?
Yes, like basically anything that Ryan did on Oa was animated. Like it was an animated movie part of it. And a lot of stuff is getting that way. Like let's be real, Aquaman and stuff is getting that way, but we're talking 11 years ago. So you can see when they look up like a pop-up doll on a
Yeah,
CGI screen how bad it is. And that suit, I'm sorry, you don't do animated suits. Like
some angles were just so bad. But like when he turned and his whole body didn't turn, just his head. And I'm like, no, the suit doesn't look real when you do that. Why did they add that there? Also, his eyes. I wasn't not.
I hated his
I
eyes.
hated it. I'm like, did you make it like a light bluish white color? Why would you do that? Just make it all white where I can't see your eyes, or make your eyes freaking green. It's not
Yes.
that hard. Like, he looks scary.
Like what made them think, well, we're just going to go with this weird color instead of either A, his natural color, or B, the color of the suit that you literally put so much A or CG into? What? It looks terrible. And then at some points I would notice his face mask. Like
Was his
when
face
it
CGI'd? I need to know.
his face mask.
Not his face mask, his actual face. I'm saying this because everybody's face looks natural to me, and his looks unrealistically smooth.
I don't know. That's a
Like,
good
it looks like he
question.
was CGI'd baby face, and I'm like, if this is your real
I
face
wouldn't
from
doubt it.
2011, I'm sorry, but like, I see movies like even movies back then, I'm like, your face doesn't look like this. What did they do to your face? Maybe it's like wrong makeup or something. I don't know, but his face looks freaking weird.
And I actually noticed that a little bit with Blake because when she was like, I think it was when they were sitting on top and they were talking, like she has that little mole by her eye,
Mm-hmm.
and every once in a while it would like get really light, like they were trying to smooth things out and they
Emphasize.
accidentally went over it. So I noticed that a little bit with her too. I wonder if they did that to make them look better, but it actually kind of backfired. Oh,
Okay, so I wasn't wrong about her face too. It's like sometimes I would look at her face. I'm like, why does your face look different? I don't know what it
yes.
is. And you mentioned the mole, and I'm like, I think that's what it was.
I got like the only thing, the best thing about, oh God, this is going to be mean. The best thing about Carol's character was when she was in that office, her dress was adorable. Other than that, the whole character to me felt like they got everything wrong with Carol.
I
Like,
just realized that I feel like that was a subplot that was just never finished. Because as
it
soon as
was.
that person leaves, Hal is like, "What is this? Why are you wearing this? You're a fighter. You're a pilot." And she's like, "Listen, I'm just trying to take over my dad's company." And I was like, "Oh, we never improved on that. Like if she actually is gonna stay a pilot or just do the business." But why was he so angry about her not being a pilot? I mean, he shot her anyway. I mean, no, he didn't shoot her. He let the two sabers ships, whatever, the
Yeah,
autopilot ships kill her anyway. Steve Trevor would never, by the way.
that's right. You know what, though? Neither would Hal Jordan.
Yeah, I would
Like,
assume so. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't do that either. Also, he's not built to fly. Like, if you got PTSD of,
yeah,
from this, how many times are you getting PTSD from it? And how are you considered like really good at your job if this has probably happened more than once, especially since Carol was like, "Oh, you choked, didn't you?" And I'm like, okay, so this has happened more than once where he's
right.
almost
She
died
knows of
and
it.
he crashed an expensive ship. How many more times has he done that?
But yet he's an amazing fighter pilot.
That's what I'm so confused.
Fighter pilot. There we go. It just
uh
it just didn't make sense. But like, what about Abin Sur? So the whole thing with like him being grabbed up to me was so dumb. Oh, it was so dumb.
who's that one again? Is he the
Abin
purple
Sur
alien?
is the guy that he finds where he gets the
The
get
ring.
yes, yeah.
Very short. He looked
The
weird.
man or the part?
The man.
You know what? I actually think as far as like how they did the alien life, Abin Sur to me looked the best. Um, but
Sinestro looked the best. What are you talking about?
oh, okay, yes. Besides Sinestro, Sinestro looked the best in the whole movie.
I
But
think the bird looked kind of cool.
the bird.
I don't know. He has a beak, and so it reminds me of
Oh,
a bird.
the bird fish guy. Yeah, he didn't look too bad. He looked like his chest was about to fall out. But like with Abin Sur, the way that okay, he explains it, but what I don't understand is so he says, charge the ring on, do the oath, and da da da, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So how did it ever explain how he knew the oath?
The lantern gave it to him.
Okay, it did.
I don't know. It put it in his brain or somehow or something like that. Because out of nowhere, he just says it and he's looking at the lantern, and I think his eyes were glowing green at that time. Maybe?
Oh, I do
Question mark?
remember that when in his apartment.
Yeah. Also, I thought when he said it for the second time when he was fighting that it was going to give him like a major boost or whatever, but it barely gave him a boost. And I'm like, then what was the point? What was the point of saying it? Also, you didn't say it with so much oomph, and I wanted oomph when you said it. You know? Disappointing.
I'm not gonna lie, I hated the way he said it.
Yay! I'm not the only one.
Both times. It's okay, the first time wasn't as bad, but the second time when he's saying it when he's going against Parallax, I'm like, this is so fucking corny. This is so fucking corny.
The Care Bear one, the Care Bear version from the Mad TV cartoon is a whole lot better. He said it with so much oomph. He said it with so much care.
Oh my god, it was like It felt like they were making a mockery out of it without even trying. And they made a mockery out of Parallax too. Like, the character felt to me like they were trying to make him kind of like, I don't know, Galactus or something like Galactus, where he goes and just is a world destroyer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, Parallax has taken over Hal before. They did that whole, I think it was, oh my god, I'm gonna not final. I don't remember what it was called. Oh my god, I just lost some nerd cred. But
how dare you?
I know, right? And that whole thing with how that a lot of people didn't like it, but I did. And Parallax never looked like that. The idea of Parallax is there, but the way that they went about it was fucking terrible. For one, I don't understand why they would give it to. We were talking about Greg Berlanti earlier. Why would you not have like a writer that is near and dear to that character on this to help out at least? Because I did see that Jeff Johns was doing something in it, but it was the main writers were Mark Guggenheim and Berlanti.
I think I might have maybe skipped Jeff Johns' name because I didn't see it and I was looking for it.
I think it was just that I think it was just that he was a part of like DCCCO or something, like somebody at that. I don't remember that he had a specific part to play in the movie. I could be wrong, but this is a problem, like a bigger problem when it comes to movies like this. Yes, a screenwriter can write amazing comic book properties. Look at stuff like Peacemaker, right? You have James Gunn, but he has always kind of done this like superhero genre, even going back before stuff like Guardians of the Galaxy. This is a bigger problem when you don't kind of bring other voices to the table and assume you know how to embody these characters without like even going to Jeff Johns and be like, all right, look, tell me about this, da 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 da. Like, have a conversation, read my script, be my editor. This whole movie could have been great. It could have been avoided. I think it actually, if I remember, Ryan Reynolds said something about it causing him his career problems for a while. It was so bad. Like, you need to work on screenwriter. And I feel like DC is making that same problem again. They're doing the same thing they did with this movie. They did it with Birds of Prey with Christina Hobson. And then that movie does terrible. Everybody hates the idea that they have Cassie Kane as this loudmouth brat. They have a lot of really bad characters. I would say Huntress was okay. Renee was okay, but it was like, man, bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they give Christina Hobson the Flash. Why are you giving these terrible screenwriters comic book properties instead of bringing in big names like Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Conner, like Sam Humphries? Names on these, that I was talking about Harley Quinn with those ones, but like Jeff Johns, why aren't you doing this? It makes absolutely zero sense to me because there's such a huge disconnect between book and TV.
Gosh dang, bring me more Brian Hill.
Oh my God. I would read anything that he writes at this point. He's so talented. The only thing, okay, it's not a problem, but I feel bad for him because I absolutely hated Titan season 4. It was terrible. Like,
but he said he was hired as a writer.
I'm sorry,
right?
season 3. What's that?
He was hired as a writer, right?
Yeah.
But he said that everything was like already concluded. And so I'm like, if everything's already like done, then why are you here? Why are they hiring you?
Basically,
like,
to write dialogue.
Just writing dialogue?
Yeah.
After
that's
all
why I said I feel bad for him.
That's so bad. Like, okay, so we already, like, we're gonna kill this character, so you just need to write the dialogue for it. And I'm like, why? No. Make him write the scenes. Make him do the writing of what the characters are.
All of that is all set out for him. That was fucked up.
That's stupid. Oh my gosh. And give him a raise, too. Make him work on
and I feel bad for him. Because then he has to have that on his resume if it's bad.
Oh my gosh.
And he's one that's clearly very talented, right? Like, and he's such a nice guy. He deserves a lot of work, but like, he's one that is a good example of from screen to print, he can do both. Why not bring on somebody like him? Somebody that has experience in both and somebody that is clearly capable of doing both. But they don't do it, and I don't understand if there's like maybe a little bit of nepotism going on. I'm sure there's more than a little bit, but still, what the issue is. But like, even okay, so there was a new Black Adam comic that was just announced that's coming out, I believe, in June. And it is written by, oh, I can't think of his name. Regardless, it is going to be awesome. But Black Adam movie's coming out, right? And Black Adam's going to be a big deal in the DCU. This book is going to pass the mantle right before the movie comes out. Why are you doing this dumb shit? Like, you're literally taking away the character as you bring the character on screen. Do you not see how that's so stupid?
Yeah. But I wonder if it's most likely the whole wait, was Black Adam delayed more, or
Yes.
was
Well, it was only delayed from July to October.
yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, and if it was only delayed that much, this book was supposed to come out in June, so it was just starting. So yeah, but like, they need some sort of synergy. They absolutely do. There's nothing. They do have these weird comics coming out, which the only thing they have synergy with is the CW. Make it make sense. They have a couple books coming out that are tie-ins to the CW, but they're passing the mantle for their big screen debut of Black Adam. Like, they needed some new management, like, ASAP.
I will be the
I'm sorry, they do.
I will take every role, including CEO.
That's right. Hire Bianca now.
I edited somebody's comic. I have experience.
That's right. Even had to use Google or they had to use Google. You know what? That's the perfect person for the job. Oh my goodness. Oh, one other thing. Did you notice the superhero landings in this movie?
Yeah.
They were legitimately the worst thing I've ever seen as far as superhero landings. They looked like
they look like posers.
Like, if they were trying to do bad, I don't think they could do this good of a job at it. I was just like, what's going on? Why are you doing this? Why are you making it so, like, they look ridiculous on purpose? The only scene I will say that was actually pretty cool was the helicopter one.
Yeah.
The race car set, that was cute.
I heard there was a Hot Wheels soundtrack. Or
Wait,
something
what?
like that. I was in a live stream yesterday, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, the Hot Wheels soundtrack in the movie is like pretty good. I even bought it." And I'm like, he's like, keep a listen for it." I'm like, okay, and so I'm seeing the car thing, and I'm like, oh, that must be it. And I'm like, I'm listening, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's pretty good. He was like, that's the only good thing in that movie.
I was gonna say the best part to come out of Green Lantern was the Hot Wheels soundtrack. Tell me how much that makes sense.
I'm like, is this an advertisement? Is this a product placement?
I liked how they did, like, the kind of foreshadowed it when he was talking to his nephews. He had a Hot Wheels thing, and like, I like how they did that. But I don't know. This movie was just I shockingly bad. Like, and it's not that old. 2011 is not that old. That, like, it's, to put it into perspective, it came out when Iron Man came out. Remember Iron Man 1, how good that was?
Oh my gosh. Greg, go to Marvel, please. So you can give DC, more one-ups.
That's right. Or just like you know what? I don't even have a problem. Keep them on the CW. Most people know at this point that is not that's not hitting its target demographic. Like, it's up for sale. People are really not interested in what it has. We can see that by the ratings. Keep them over there. That's fine.
For sale.
What's that?
I forgot it wasn't for sale. It's on sale. That's what I meant. I forgot it was on sale.
Like, it's on sale, but they're still making new properties. They're making that Gotham Knights. Have you seen that one?
I've heard of it. I've also heard
Like,
they're making a Gotham Knights animation.
and a
Not
video
animation,
game?
sorry. They're making a movie, right?
And a video game.
And a video game.
Yeah, okay, all right. Um, what makes me mad about Gotham Knights on the CW is they're bringing in Dwell Adet, and I love Dwell Adet, and I'm like, you're gonna make me watch one episode, aren't you? Like, quit pulling me back in, because I know I'm gonna hate it, but I want to see Dwell Adet. I love it. I love her. She's so okay. She's psychotic. She's absolutely insane, and that's maybe why I
So's the
like her a little bit.
Joker, but people like him.
Well, I mean, she's called the Joker's daughter. I don't actually think she is. I know she's not the Joker's daughter for real, but she tries to pretend like she is.
For reals, for reals.
For reals, for reals. Yeah, I just I don't know. This movie's a shame. Like, if you compare it to Iron Man, which it can't be compared, like, the not only is the world building terrible compared to it, the side characters are terrible. The CG is terrible. The idea that you're trying to build up this character and sell it to us, no, it doesn't work. By the end of the movie, half of the audience probably is looking at Hal Jordan like, you're kind of dick. Like, I don't know. Like, his whole idea about getting rid of Parallax, that was cool. The way he did that was creative, I guess. But there's not a whole lot to redeem when it comes to Hal, in my opinion.
Same. I feel like he's just gonna honestly get the. I didn't get a feeling of a personality change, or like he doesn't have to have a personality change.
Like, growth,
but he said
though.
he was gonna like do better, and I'm like, but like the movie ended, so where am I gonna see that?
You're
like,
not. They want you to
be a
forget
better
this
pilot?
exists.
Is he gonna quit? Is blah 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 blah? I feel like there
And
could have been more.
well, and even at
scenes.
the end, he's like, "I'm gonna go get into some trouble." Shut the fuck up. Who wrote that line?
Or...
Who wrote that line? Why are you
I
doing
don't know.
this to me? You're making
Also,
my brain hurt.
did you have a problem? I know this is. I know Sinestro does like turn bad eventually, but in this one, he's starting out good. Did you have a problem with him having no problem at all with sacrificing Earth?
Yeah.
And like,
that.
Aren't you a Green Lantern?
Yes.
Aren't you supposed to protect?
The weapon is done. The Earth will have to be sacrificed, but they won't be able to take Oa. Excuse me, the fuck are you talking about? What? You're supposed to be a Green Lantern at this point, but Earth, you know what? Fuck that civilization. Those billions of people, nah. That's cool. Like, wouldn't he have also realized that by doing this, it also feeds Parallax? Meaning, he's that much stronger with all those billions of people?
I'm surprised the Guardians didn't say anything.
Guardians were dicks!
They were. They have a snooty face.
They have a very punchable face. They look cool. That did look pretty good. Like the Guardians, the circle thing, it looked pretty good.
Yeah, I think so too. I think a couple of them look weird though, but that's fine.
But like, yeah, I guess I didn't think about it in the moment, but like, no Green Lantern would be like, it's cool. Well, there was one time when John Stewart accidentally killed a planet, like, but he wasn't like, you know what? Fuck that planet. Let Parallax get it, and we'll call it a day after that. We'll fight. The thing is doesn't he have the weapon at that point? I think he does.
Maybe.
The ring, the yellow ring.
Yeah.
So why couldn't he just go to Earth at that point? Why wait till the storm comes to you?
Oh, because I think I don't know. Hal Jordan was like, "No, we got this. I got it. I'll just protect my world and stuff. You don't have to interfere." And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and it's that Mary Sue type trope that like gets me, because so he couldn't even beat Sinestro. He couldn't beat Kilowog. We saw Guardian we saw Green Lantern after Green Lantern, the strongest Green Lanterns, Abin Sur, like, tens of other Green Lanterns dead at the hands of Parallax. But because Hal Jordan comes to the realization that he can overcome fear, all of a sudden he's able to kill Parallax.
Also, I found it so confusing. Sinestro literally brought all those Green Lanterns to fight him, and he was just standing there. And I'm like, are you kidding? Are you killing them on purpose? Is this your evil plan? Are you evil yet? Are you evil this whole time and you're just acting good? Like, you killed so much people.
He, just watched them die.
He's like, yeah, so, and then he's like, has all of these reports. He's like, oh, I know where it's going. It's going over here next. It's in the da-da-da. And then look, we have this ring. And I'm like, how do you know all this? Are you just too smart, or are you just causing all of this? Are you with Parallax? Like, it was just going through my head, because I'm like, how do you know all this? How do you know what to do? I feel like you're killing everybody on purpose.
That would have actually been better writing to have that be the final payoff than it would have to have that monster octopus smoke guy with the guardian face. Like, that would have been that's better writing right there in 10 seconds than what we got from the movie. I can't believe anybody thought this was a good idea. Like, I refuse to
hire me.
What's that?
I told you they should hire me.
Yes, exactly. See? More proof. How much more proof do you need, DC? Goodness
I got
gracious.
that creative personality. That's going to be on my resume. Creative personality. Right. Yeah, there we go.
That's your number one trait. There we go. Perfect.
Yeah.
The whole thing is, I would love, as far as like, okay, we're getting the Flashpoint movie. It's clearly going to wipe away a lot of the Snyderverse stuff. It's going to cause this ripple in time and get, bring Batman 89 forward. We're going to see a lot of changes. So we'll probably get like an idea that this is wiped away. And that's great. But I want to see a good Green Lantern show or movie or something. They have never done, besides like Emerald Knights and the animated stuff, I don't think they've ever done anything really good with the Lanterns that I can, like, Jade is in Stargirl, but that's the only thing I can think of.
I'm still watching Stargirl.
Oh, that wasn't a spoiler, I promise.
No, I'm like on episode almost 10 or something, where what's her name? Shoot, what's Stargirl's name?
Courtney.
What?
Courtney.
Yeah, Courtney. She's down. She just got sucked down below.
Oh, I know exactly where you're at.
Yeah,
so good. I love that show.
Me too. I can't wait for season 3. Got to finish Superman and Lois. Wait,
I know,
they moved season 1 to HBO Max. What the heck?
Superman and Lois or Stargirl?
Superman and Lois.
I think they're going to end up doing that for both of them, just because they're the only ones that are profitable.
Oh my gosh. Just do what you need to do so I can watch it on one streaming service. Leave me alone.
The only thing good about the CW, though, is, like, you get it for free on the app, like, the next day or whatever. And anyways, what I was saying was, so besides Jade in Stargirl, and I know they did some hints in, I believe it was Flash, about a Green Lantern, but as far as live action goes, we have never gotten anything that is good in the Lantern Corps. Like, you've got this amazing intergalactic space police, basically. Why are you not using them on the outskirts of the DCU to maybe make a cameo here and there, and then have their own story on the outside of the Earth, to have their own, like, you can use these crazy characters like Kilowog, just don't make them look like that. Oh my God, please. Or you can, like, the thing about the Lanterns is they're naturally diverse also. So you've got so much to work with, yet they're not taking advantage of that. Since the beginning of my channel, I've been reporting on that, I haven't in a long time though, that Green Lantern show that was supposed to come to HBO Max. Remember that was announced like 3 years ago?
Which one?
A Green Lantern show coming to HBO Max.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be written by Jeff Johns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How
It's
long?
like
That's
3
been
years in the
3 years?
making. Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
ridiculous.
gosh.
That's what I'm saying. Are we ever going to actually get it? Like they're supposed to have um the original Green Lantern. I don't know. They've got someone like Jarva, a new Lantern. They've got the original Green Lantern. Oh my god, why did I forget his last name? His first name's Alan.
More. I'm
Oh my
just
god.
kidding.
What's that?
More, I said.
I know. I don't know what I was thinking. But I can't think of his name. He's the one I always forget too. Um, and they're doing like different stories with it, and they're telling like period pieces, and they've got Guy Gardner on there. You've got Alan Scott. Goodness gracious. Um, why are you not taking advantage of this? Like, perfect idea for storytelling. There's so many stories. Like Jessica Cruz alone is an absolute person that is devoured by fear. You can do so much with her as far as mental health goes, and that's why I love Jessica. She's my favorite lantern because she is the embodiment of fear. She's agoraphobic, right? She won't leave her house. She won't do these things. And you have the ring choosing her and you don't know why. And again, it kind of goes back to that trope of overcoming fear, but you've got so much with you can do with mental health. And then you've got, the kind of frat guy, Guy Gardner, that you can do with showing good forms of masculinity, protection and the ability to overcome, those kind of things. There's so much good storytelling they could do with these characters. And then they're like, hey, how about another Batman property? Like, we just talked about Gotham Knights, which they're having a show, a movie, and a game. But we can't get a good Green Lantern show? What's the problem here?
Everything is the problem.
That's right. DC is a fucking mess. An absolute mess. That's all right. At least we got our books. And those
Yes.
are totally okay. No, I'm just kidding. There's some really good ones out right now. Green Lantern's actually one of them, but it's unfortunately ending.
Oh.
I know Jeffrey Thorne. He's the goat. I like him a lot. He's a good writer.
The goat.
He's coming to Milestone, which is cool. So I'm gonna love that. So
Oh,
is there
that
anything
reminds
else?
me.
Go
I
ahead.
know an indie. I follow somebody who does
Mhm.
indie comics, and he actually just got hired to write a Milestone.
No way.
Yeah, I just saw the announcement. I'm like, oh shoot! Good, congrats to you, man. I can't wait to see what kind of stories you do.
That's so cool. Was it that Milestone Initiative?
I think so. I think it's good. I definitely think it's like since there's a lot of stories coming out. I think
Yeah.
it's going to be something like that.
That is so freaking cool. That's like living the dream there.
Hmm.
That's awesome. So, is there anything you wanted to add before we wrap up with this terrible movie review?
Despite me using most of it as background noise, I did like it a tiny bit better than Catwoman, just a tiny bit. But I
I
will say
can't
I like the ending fight for Catwoman more than the Green Lantern one.
see the I think I like the Catwoman more because I hadn't previously seen it. So it was all brand new to me. This I was able to, I don't know, kind of pick apart the storytelling uh and look at it and go, yeah, this isn't Hal Jordan to me. At least in Catwoman, she was Patience Phillips. So it was essentially a new character to me. You know what I mean? Even though it
The
really wasn't.
moving like a cat.
Oh my god, in that basketball scene. Oh my god. Okay.
I wish you didn't get one of
Maybe they're on the
those.
same level. Sometimes I forget the cringe. My mind has PTSD for cringe. Oh god. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now that I think about it. Yes, definitely you know what? I would say that it's worth watching if you want to kind of just laugh and have fun with it. It's not something you want to go into and be like super serious about.
It's so funny. When we're watching Catwoman, I'm laughing at how cringy it is. For this one, I'm just staring, and I'm like, okay, uh huh. Ryan Reynolds not funny in this.
No, Ryan
That's
Reynolds
why.
always plays
That's probably why the
himself.
Deadpool one is so good. He takes it further. He makes fun of superhero poses. My gosh.
He's a great Deadpool. He is not a good Green Lantern. He's a great Deadpool. That's the role I feel like he was born to play.
I think somewhat similar.
All right,
I'm like, well, we haven't seen any others, so I can't say anything.
All right, guys, we are going to wrap up, but make sure you check out Bianca's channel in the description and make sure you guys subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.